Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Meeta Sheikh. I am associate director with Khurana and Khurana. Starting my career as a researcher in the field of R&D for bioactives, I later on moved to patents and having worked with pharma companies as an in-house patent professional, patent counsel. I moved to one of the law firm, and then I have been with Khurana and Khurana for a few years now. Uh, while we have been filing patent applications, prosecuting patent applications at the Indian Patent Office for our many of the applicants, we realized that the issue of obtaining permission from a National Biodiversity Authority is not very the applicants are not very well aware about this particular concept or issues as such, and Biological Diversity Act per se is not very popular amongst Indian researchers. So we thought of taking this opportunity and sharing some of our experiences, as well as giving some our tips for the researchers and university academician researchers or those who are from the industry, so that they at least are aware about the requirement of seeking permission at the appropriate time and avoid any breach of the law which can happen unintentionally or innocently. So with that premise, I am starting our session today. So we are going to look into the approvals which are required from the National Biodiversity Authority under Biological Diversity Act 2002. Why it is important for India to have such law and have such regulatory body in place. So as you are all aware that we have a very rich tradition of Ayurveda, Unani and Siddha, and most of our medicines in the historic time were based on the natural products. And so the trend has continued, and we do extensively carry out research in the field of the natural medicines or natural resource-based materials as such. And India being a biodiversity hotspot, it is one of the 17 mega biodiversity countries with 46,000 species of plants and 81,000 species of animals, is a very rich repository for anyone to access the biological materials and carry out the research, not only in India but outside India also. The requirement of materials which are accessed from Indian forest or Indian resources are very popular. We have been receiving a lot of queries from our foreign researcher, or foreign universities regarding the requirement of accessing the material from India for carrying out the research or for any commercial utilization. So the requirement of such permissions are very crucial nowadays. As earlier, there was not so much of stringencies which were followed by the Indian Patent Office, but of lately, the Indian Patent Office as well as National Biodiversity authorities have been very vigilant, and they have been directing applicants, whether they are Indian applicants or they are foreign applicants, to seek the permission or provide the proper information to the patent office so that the due approval can be taken. So let's start. Before we start and go into the details of Biological Diversity Act, let me take you to the Parent Act, which is a Convention on Biological Diversity. Generally called as a Biodiversity Convention. It is a convention which is a multilateral treaty which was open for signature in 1992 at the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit. There were, need felt at that point of time that the biological materials or biological resources from the countries which are rich in biological diversity, like Asian countries or South African countries or South American countries, they were facing the issues of some of the plant materials being, taken away from their country without any permission, and there some of the species were so exploited that they went on the verge of extinction. So to avoid something called as biopiracy, that is unauthorized access to biological materials or genetic resources from those countries, and prevent any such extinction of the species, and have some mechanism in place globally. The convention CBD was put in place, and currently there are 196 states which are party to CBD, and as a requirement of this convention, the countries are required to put in place the mechanisms or laws which would have the control over the accessing of the biological material from their own country by their own for some various purposes by their own researchers, or the commercial utilization by the companies as well as the foreign researchers. So the goal of the CBD is the conservation of the biological diversity, or biodiversity as it is called as, the sustainable use of the components. That means none of the plant species or the animal species, if they are used, or microorganisms, if they are used, they should not be exploited to the extent that they become extinct, and fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from the use of the genetic resources. That means if you are using a genetic resources of or a biological resources from any particular community or any tribal community, you need to share certain benefit sharing with such tribal communities. But then there is a body which governs all this such access and benefit sharing through the Biological Diversity Act. So in India, the Biological Diversity Act was implemented in 2002. It regulates use of the India's biological resources. It governs conservation, sustainable use. It also puts in a place mechanism for equitable access benefit sharing out of the utilization of biological resource or associated knowledge. And the Act also covers the protection of traditional knowledge and associated knowledge sharing with some of the entities. It also has advisory role to the government for all of these three functions which it is supposed to carry, which is governed by the Biological Diversity Act. So the Biological Diversity Act is implemented at three levels. It is a three-tier system of implementation. At the national level, the Biological Diversity Act is implemented by National Biodiversity Authority. That means any approval, any permission required, all the applicants are required to go to the National Biodiversity Authority, which is in Chennai. They have a wonderful mechanism currently in place for making various applications online. There is a state biodiversity authorities which are called as SBBs. When any party, any company utilizes biological resources from India for commercial purposes, for manufacturing, they have to intimate the state biodiversity authority, and they don't have to take a permission or approval, but then they have to intimate. And if we will see the requirements related to SBBs later on during my talk. And then there is a local level biodiversity management committees who kind of work in the rural areas, or at the panchayat level, they help making the list of biological resources which are available in those regions as such. So these are the three bodies which implement Biological Diversity Act. But the most importantly, we will be focusing on the National Biodiversity Authority as such. So National Biodiversity Authority implements the Biological Diversity Act 2002. It is autonomous and statutory body. It regulates access to the India's biological resource. It regulates access. That means if you need permission of any kind, which we will discuss a bit later, you need to approach National Biodiversity Authority, which is also called as NBA. It facilitates or enables conservation action plan, and it also provides central and state government on issues of conservation, sustainable use, and access and benefit sharing. We will refer to Biological Diversity Act as a BDA. Let's see some of the definitions of this particular law, because we will be referring very often what would be a biological resource. So we all need to understand what is a biological resource and for what all biological resources we need to take permission from NBA, which would be falling within the ambit of a Biological Diversity Act. So biological resource as per the Biological Diversity Act means any plants, any animals or part thereof, or any microorganisms which you will be accessing from the natural resources. That means if you have taken any soil sample or water sample and then you have isolated microorganisms, yes, from the Indian territory, yes, you have to take a permission from NBA. If you are procuring plant materials or any animal materials, not from the natural habitat, but even if you are purchasing them from any of the vendors, then still you need to take a permission from National Biodiversity Authority, because you are accessing the biological material from the India as such. And when we say any plant, animal, microorganism or part thereof, or their byproducts with actual or potential use. This means that do we have to exclude the something called as a waste material, which is, which would be generally a waste as such. Now, suppose if you are using leaves which have fallen off the tree and which have, no value as such. So does it mean that you do not have to take a permission? But right now there is not much clarity, because when you say with actual or potential use or value, it may mean that the leaves of some particular plant may be used as a fertilizer or as a fuel. So you need to be very careful about what biological material you are accessing or utilizing in your research. It explicitly excludes the value-added product. Now, value-added product, we would let's see the of course we will see the definition later, but what is also excluded from the biological resource is a human genetic material. So now let's see what is value-added product. Value-added product, which is defined by the National Biodiversity Act, is any product which contains portions or extracts of plants or animals in unrecognizable and physically inseparable form. Does it mean a single extract of any plant material, say ashwagandha extract or tulsi extract, would be a value-added product? You may say yes, that because when I take the extract either of any plant material, it is unrecognizable and it is in physical inseparable form. But that is not how the National Biodiversity Authority looks at it. They consider the product means any product which would have mixtures of extracts and not a single extract. So suppose now you are buying any Ayurvedic drug or Ayurvedic medicine which has mixture of extracts. That is something which is termed as a biological value-added product and not falling within the ambit of biological resource. So for example, Chyawanprash, it has a mixture of hundreds of herbs. So that is something which is called as a value-added product, and which is because it is processed, and you cannot say it is, it is a mixture of which all plant materials as such. So this is what is the difference, or some kind of a reason for confusion amongst the researchers or amongst the patent office examiners who are examining the patent applications. So there is a little bit of unclarity, but over years of having experience with NBA, now we realize that even if researchers are using biological extracts which are of the plant or any animals, then they have to take a permission from the NBA. Now let's see what all kind of permissions are required to obtain under the Biological Diversity Act from the NBA. You need to take a so there are certain entities which need to take a prior approval even before they take any material in their hand and carry out the research. These are foreign entities or Indian entities having foreign participation. We will see the specific provision little bit later. There is a requirement of taking a prior approval for even transfer of research to foreign entities. If you have carried out a research in India, but you are transferring the results of your research to foreign entity, Again, you will have to take a permission. Any entity who is Indian, entity, or any foreign entity who is using biological resources from India and making use of such resources, if they have arrived at any intellectual property right, then they have to make an application to the NBA. The NBA is also required to be, intimated, or when any scientist or any researchers are depositing the microorganisms with any non-Indian repository. That again I'll deal with a little bit later. And if any researcher is transferring any biological resource or any associated knowledge, that means any research, results of the research, again they have to take a for which they already obtained the permission, but again they have to transfer it to some third party. They again have to take a permission from the NBA. And suppose anybody is using any biological resource for commercial utilization, that means for manufacturing any extract or any value-added product, but using any biological resources, then they need to intimate State Biodiversity Board, that means SBB, that they are going, they will be accessing so much amount of material which is from their region, and there are specific forms, and there are certain conditions which applicant has to meet with, which we will discuss in a while now. So let's see that which all entities need to take a permission or need to take approval before even accessing the biological material. That means even before taking the biological materials in their hand and carrying out the research as such. So under Section 3(2) of the Biological Diversity Act, a person who is not a citizen of India, that means any foreigner who would be coming to India, or any foreigner who would like to carry out the research, say on neem or haldi, and they would be contacting any Indian vendor, or who would be procuring any local people that I would like to take this procure this material for carrying out the research. They'll have to take a prior permission even before they secure or they procure such material for conducting any kind of research or any kind of biosurvey, bioutilization for any purpose as such. If any that doesn't mean a person who is utilizing say any biological material from their own use, they have to take permission from NBA. It is not that. It is only for accessing the biological material for research or bioutilization or biosurvey as such. Does this mean that any Indian researcher or Indian companies are not required to take a permission? Yes, Indian researchers, they do not need to take a permission from the NBA. But if there is an Indian company who is a public limited company and a listed companies whose share can be held by any any foreigner, or such companies who may have any person in their management who is a foreigner, who is not a resident of India, then such company would need to take again a permission from NBA, though that company would be an Indian company. But if it is a listed, they would not have any control that who is holding their share. Currently there is a lot of debate going on that if there is a single share which is held by a particular foreigner, why Indian company should take a permission from NBA? Some recommendations are given that they should kind of put some cap, or they should define that beyond certain limit, if there is a share capital held by some non Indian entity, then they should take a permission. But currently, as the law reads, any Indian listed company, public limited company, would require to take a permission of NBA for accessing any biological material even before carrying out the research. And any non-resident Indian, as per Section 230 of Indian Income Tax Act, would require to take a permission from the NBA before taking any biological resource or using biological resource for the utilization for research purpose. Now, I would like to emphasize that all such permissions or approvals are bound by certain clauses, and then there would be some amount of benefit sharing fee or royalty or both, which would be required. The decision of that would be taken by NBA, that what kind of royalty or what kind of fee is required to be shared by the applicant who is seeking the approval for accessing the biological material. We should also look at some of the case studies to understand the seriousness of the issues or the gravity of the issues, that at what all level unintentionally or even intentionally sometimes the breach of the law would be happening. So I would like to take you through some of the case laws. In case of a scientist from Czech Republic, there were two scientists who were found guilty of violating Section 3 of the PD Act because they both were foreigner. They were accessing certain materials from Indian. That means they were going to Darjeeling, and then they accessed some material from the wildlife. The district magistrate in Darjeeling found them in possession of as many as 1,500 species of butterfly, insects, and moths. Scientists did kind of pleaded that they were unaware about this requirement of the law, and they were not sure that they need to take a permission, and hence it was unintentional, or they were innocent, and hence they should not be found guilty. But accessing as many as 1,500 species of butterflies and insects definitely cannot happen without understanding the requirement of the local laws as such. So since there were two scientists, one of the scientists was very senior scientist of repute. He was fined with 20,000, and other was who may have played a major role in unauthorized access, was sentenced for 3 years of imprisonment, and but later he was released on bail and fined with 60,000. But still, one should be aware that such kind of serious implications can be there if anybody is found guilty or on the wrong side of the law. Again, there is one more case is of the Japanese national charged with violation of Section 3 of the Biological Diversity Act. Two scientists who came from Japan, who were associated with reputed institute of Japan, were taking the species of snakes, spiders, scorpions, turtles for the research purpose from the forest of Kerala to Japan. However, in absence of any prior permission from the Wildlife Protection Act, from NBA, and also in view of various sections of Wildlife Protection Act 1972, since they were taking the material from forest, they were taken into custody by wildlife officials for the offense of smuggling the materials as such. So researchers need to be very careful that if there are such similar laws are there in other countries as well. Now look at the company who can found be guilty. Now I'm sure everybody would have heard of Monsanto, which is a foreign company who has been involved in many genetically modified plant materials as such, who is associated with Maharashtra Hybrid Seed Company MACO in India, whose 26% of share is held by non-Indian company Monsanto. So when they were accessing 6 local varieties of BT brinjals for further development, they were found on wrong side of the law, because they did not take a prior approval from the NDA for taking the material or for accessing the 6 local varieties of BT brinjal as such. Now let us look at another approval which is required to be taken. I would like to mention that the approval which is required for the entities which are under Section 3 needs to take the approval even before accessing the material. But under Section 4, prior approval of NBA is required for transfer of the results of any research relating to any biological research occurring from India for monetary or any other consideration. So suppose now there is Indian university who is carrying out the research, and who is doing a wonderful research, and who have arrived at some finding, and they want to transfer the results of this research to somebody, or who would want to license, or any Indian company who would want to license their research results to some non-Indian entity as such. Then before transferring such results of the research or technology transfer, they need to take a permission from the approval. That means they have to take a prior approval. That means they have to first go to NBA, take the approval, and then they can transfer the results of the research to any non-foreign, to any non-Indian, that means any foreign entity as such. So again, when you say who are foreign entities, again that will be section 3 entities. That means any foreign researcher, any Indian company who does not, whose share can be held by any non-Indian as such, or any non-Indian resident as such. So the prior approval is required for in case of technology transfer or transfer of the results of the research to any foreign entity as such. Let us look at again the same case of Monsanto and Mehko. In this particular case, there was a University of Agricultural Science who had some collaboration with Mehko for conducting the research, and then Mehko entered into some licensing agreement with Monsanto to develop and deliver varieties of insect-tolerant BT eggplants using local variety of eggplant for commercialization. The material fact to be noted in this case is that the Karnataka High Court held that Mehko, being Indian company with non-Indian participation in this share capital, were violating because they were transferring the results of the research to Mehko as such without taking the permission. So as you would understand that you have taken one approval, and for any other particular specific requirement, you may not have to take the approval. But please bear in mind that whenever you take the approval, those are granted only for specific purposes, and for any other approval which is governed by the Biological Diversity Act, which necessitates the requirement of approval from NBA, then such due approval needs to be taken under under specific provisions or respective provision. Now let us look at the most crucial aspect of NBA permission. Many times the patent invention for which the patent rights are sought for are based on the research which is carried out using the biological material from India. Now, not only Indian entities or Indian researcher or Indian companies would be using the biological materials from India, but there are many foreign companies who use the biological materials from India. So there was a case where we realized that mosquitoes, the malaria-causing mosquitoes were accessed from India for rendering them, genetic modification so that they become, non-virulent, or they do not have, who are not able to cause the malaria later on. So if they are using any such species of, either microorganisms or any particular insects or animals from India, or if they are using even say haldi or neem or tulsi or any other plant material, or if their extracts are being used by for any entity, whether in India or from foreign, but using biological material from India, they have to take a permission from NBA for applying for the intellectual property right. Though the act reads as applying for an intellectual property right, but there is some leeway or some flexibility provided in this particular case, that if the patent application is already filed, a permission, an application for permission from the NBA can still be made without breach of law. But in any case, before the grant of patent, whether in India or outside India, the permission must be obtained. That means if you have filed a patent application in India and you have filed patent application outside India also, for example, US or Europe, and for some reason you do not know that you need to take a permission, which has happened in past, that there were many companies who were not aware that they need to take a permission from NBA for applying for intellectual property right. And as you may be aware that South Africa or some other countries, they do not have formal examination of substantial examination mechanism in place in their respective intellectual property right laws, and the patent gets granted even without examination. And in that case, if you have not taken the permission from NBA, such companies or such applicants can be found guilty of violation of NBA provisions, BDA provisions as such, which is to facilitate or to help such innocent applicants that who were not aware of that they were required to make application to the NBA before their patent gets granted in any other country. Some respite was provided last year, and there was a specific provision was provided by way of notification, and all the parties, all the applicants were given opportunity of a specific period to make the application, so that their applications can be taken up by the NBA, and they can be regularized. And we help many of the applicants seeking such approval, and they have already received such approval. Their approval were regularized by NBA under this specific provision, and they have already received the approval currently. I've already discussed this, that application to NBA can be made after filing of patent application. However, the application permission must be obtained before the patent is granted in India or elsewhere in the world, anywhere as such. And if it is not done, we will discuss about the penalties which are there with respect to breach of the laws, specific provisions of this particular law. Now, what are the requirements of the Indian Patent Act when we talk about seeking the permission from the NBA? How Indian Patent Office would be aware that any material which is used from India is used in the invention for which the protection is sought. So under section 10.4.2d of the Indian Patents Act, that there is a requirement that the applicant is required to disclose the source and geographical origin of the biological material in the description of the patent application. That means if you file the patent application relating to any biological, say invention, or any invention which makes use of any biological material, say for the purpose of making any composition product, or even for bioremediation or wastewater treatment, or so on and so forth. If any material, plant, microorganisms are used in such invention, then they are required to disclose the source and geographical origin of the material to the patent office, and that information is required to be disclosed in the patent specification. So when we draft the patent application, we always seek such information from the applicants, and we ask them to provide us the information that from where they have procured the material, whether they have procured the material from, say, wild habitat, or they have procured the materials through some vendors. And then we kind of determine, or we seek any clarifications of if required from the NBA, and we help applicants to make the permission, make the application to seeking permission at the appropriate time, so that they do not end up violating the BDA as such. I would also like to emphasize that non-disclosure or wrongful disclosure of the source of biological material or any associated knowledge is a ground of opposition and revocation in India. So even if the patent is granted for some reason, and there is no proper say scrutiny was made, or there was a wrongful disclosure by the applicant about the source of the biological material, then the patent can be invalidated or revoked by the patent office as such. Further, there is also a need for deposition of novel biological material. Of course, it has got nothing to do with National Biodiversity Authority approval as such, but if any Research is being carried out, and as a result of this research, any new biological material is invented, say a genetically modified, say any insect or genetically modified, a plant as such, maybe a microorganism will be patentable in India, but plant would not be per se patentable in India. But if you are using any say microorganism, and then you are arriving at the novel microorganism, then you have to deposit such microorganism under Budapest Treaty with the authorized authority depository institute, which is there in Chandigarh as well as in in Pune. But suppose now any researcher who needs to deposit the material is somehow not cannot be deposited with any of these two authorities, and they need to specifically deposit the material with any foreign depository material, any foreign depository, then they need to at least intimate the NBA that we are depositing such novel material outside India for for patent purpose or for any other purpose as such. Now let us also look at the intimation of SBB to obtain any biological resource for commercial utilization. So far we were discussing about various provisions of BDA requiring applicants to take a permission for research purpose, but there is also a requirement to take not to take a permission but intimate state biodiversity authority, that means SBB, before they start commercial manufacturing and utilize the biological material obtained from India. So this is required even by those Indian companies who would have any foreign participation, or who would have the capital share held by any foreign entity, or even from any Indian person or Indian companies, irrespective of whether they are foreign entity or not. Any entity needs to take or needs to intimate SBB before commercial utilization of the biological resource. And again, such intimation would be subject to certain terms and conditions as such. However, this requirement is not applicable to the Ayurvedic practitioners or indigenous medicine practitioners like Vaid and Hakim. This is a case where Divya Pharmacy, which is an Indian manufacturing company, Ayurvedic manufacturing company, had challenged the demand raised by the Uttarakhand State Biodiversity Authority Board under the fair and equitable benefit sharing, royalty or fee, which was asked by the Uttarakhand SBB. Divya Pharmacy pleaded that such requirements is only applicable to the foreign entities, and any Indian company is not required to intimate SBB for utilization of material for commercial production. But however, this is not the case. Under Section 7, they were found guilty of Biological Diversity Act, and they were required to share 20.4 million of its 4.2 billion revenue for the year 2014-15, or a levy of 3 to 5% on the cost price of biological resource extracted, or 4.1 to 0.05% of annual gross factory sale of finished good minus taxes of the Uttarakhand SBB. So this is again as per the guideline, which is excess benefit sharing guideline, which we again will discuss a little bit later, that what are the terms and conditions or what are the rates of royalties which are levied under the ABS guideline. The last approval which I would want to discuss is the approval of the transfer of any biological resource or knowledge associated based on already received NVA approval for accessing Indian biological resource or patented invention. Now, suppose the company has already taken the permission from NVA, who is a foreign entity, for doing for accessing the biological material and carrying out the research. Now, suppose they want to transfer not only the results of the research to any foreign entity, but they want to transfer the biological material or resource per se, they again have to take a separate permission from the NBA under section 20. And similarly, if any applicant of patent, or later on if the invention, if the patent application is granted and needs to you know take a permission, need to do a technology transfer to any outside Indian entity, then again they will have to take a permission, uh, or they will have to uh, kind of take again a permission from the NBA that they need to transfer the results of their research or transfer the technology based on the research or their invention to any foreign entity as such. So this permission again needs to be taken before transfer of the research or before the technology transfer happens. As I already explained to you that if there are any Indian researchers or institutes or universities who need to who need to deposit the microorganisms in other countries, the depository, for claiming a novel species, they must provide prior intimation to NBA. There is a specific form called as Form C, and they have to provide such information to NBA before going ahead with the deposition. Now, there are certain entities who are not required, or certain acts which are not required, to take a permission under the Biological Diversity Act or permission from the NBA. So let us look at certain exemptions under the BDA. So prior approval of NBA is not required for collaborative research by two universities or two institutions, which would be government sponsored research institute of India, provided they conform to the policy guideline issued by the central government and it is approved, such a collaboration is approved by the central government. So this does not mean any collaborative research between two companies, Indian company and a foreign company, or Indian university and foreign company or foreign university. They do not need the permission. They need the permission, but if they confirm or they follow the policy guidelines provided by the central government, and such collaboration is approved by the central government, then they do not need to take the permission from the NBA. Indian researchers or Indian entities or Indian companies, they do not need to take a permission from the NBA for accessing the material for carrying out the research. Any local people or communities who are accessing the material for their purpose, or even local wise and hakims, they are not required to take the permission from NBA. Even accessing of the biological resource for conventional breeding, for seeking the plant variety protection under sui generis system, they don't need to take a permission from the NBA as such. Any any publication of research or research paper or dissemination of knowledge in any seminar or workshop, if even if the research is carried out using the biological material, then then they do not need to take the permission from the NBA, provided this publication is in conformity with the guideline issued by the central government. And any body who wants to access the value-added product, like the the final product for having the mixture of multiple ingredients, or any traders who are trading the any biological material as such. That means if a wholesaler is buying the apples and then he is selling that apples to another dealer or any other vendor, such selling of the normally traded commodity is also exempted from taking the permission from the NBA as such. Now, I would like to mention that all the other approvals, whether it is by Section 3 entities or those who are requiring to take permission from NBA before applying for intellectual property right, they all need to take application on a specific form which is prescribed by the NBA, providing the information, requisite details, and the documents along with the official fee, which varies if there is a foreign entity or entity under Section 3 which needs a permission. The official fee is 10,000 rupees. If intellectual property related application is made, the permission from the NBA, then the fee is 500 rupees. Similarly, intimation to SBB is also required to be made on a specific form prescribed by a specific SBBs of those territories from where the biological material is required to be obtained. As I said that such permissions, when either granted by NBA or SBB, they are subject to certain terms and conditions. So when NBA provides the approval, they will put in place the benefit sharing agreement, which would have the terms on excess benefit sharing, which is called as ABS, and which would be subject to certain terms and conditions, which again I'll explain you a bit later, that at what rate they will be required to pay the royalty or fee to the NBA, which is of course not in the hands of the applicant as such, but which will be decided by NBA. Again, if anybody is using the biological material for commercial purpose and intimating SBB again may require certain royalty payment or excess benefit fee, which would be required to be paid to them. So there would be a different fee structure for which is for which a separate guideline is provided. So as I said, that excess benefit sharing fee by the NBA is also, there is a separate guideline, and SBB requires fair and equitable benefit sharing. You would be wondering that why anybody would want to take permission, would need to take fees as such. Many times applicant argue with us that I have procured the material from the marketplace, from the supplier, and I have purchased the material, paying the price for that material. I have paid certain specific taxes, and why I need to again make the payment to the NBA as such. So as you would know, one of the function of NBA is also sustainable utilization or conservation of species. They do help local communities for conservation of biological resources. So some amount of money is given to local communities for conserving the biological resources, and hence the required fees levied by NBA or SBB accordingly. In certain cases where entity is utilizing a biological material, say in terms of certain specific amount of grams or kgs, then as we saw under Section 3, then they need to make an upfront payment of certain amount of material for the accessing of the biological resource, for either for the research or bio-survey or bio-utilization leading to commercial utilization, which is a one-time collected for specific quantity depending upon the purpose of use as such, whether it is pharmaceutical, chemical, nutraceutical, cosmetic, bioremediation, or etc. Now look at the penalties, which can be imposed if anybody is found to be on the wrong side of the law. If under Section 3, 4, or 6, if anybody is found guilty, then there is definitely harsh penalty which is which is specified by the Biological Diversity Act. And so if there is somebody who is found guilty of contravening Section 3 or 4, they are punishable with imprisonment for the term, which may extend to 5 years, or with a fine that can extend to 10 lakh rupees, or depending upon the damage caused, 10 lakh rupees also, or there can be a fine as well as imprisonment. Under Section 55(2), if anybody contravenes, Section 7. Section 7 means if you have transferred your technology or transferred the results of your research to foreign entity, then again such applicants are required to, if they have not taken the due permission, then they have to pay the fine, which can extend up to 5 lakh rupees, or there can be imprisonment, or there can be both. So due to such, and such offenses are mentioned to be, cognizable and non-bailable, and hence it is really, very much crucial to understand the different provisions of the applications which are required to be made by different entities at a proper appropriate time, and secure the permission so that unintentionally or innocently nobody falls on the wrong side of the law, and they become liable to such harsh punishment as such. I just briefly would like to just mention that there is a protocol called as the Nagoya Protocol, which governs specifically access of genetic resources. What we have been so far discussing as genetic resources is biological resources is termed as a genetic resources as per the Nagoya Protocol, and there is mechanism put in place by this Nagoya Protocol for equitable benefit sharing arising out of the utilization under the Biological Diversity Act. So the Nagoya Protocol is again an international, protocol which has laid down different, provisions or different requirements by respective party. I mean, that means the respective country to put in place the mechanisms for excess benefit sharing as such. So I'm not getting into the details of a specific, requirements of Nagoya Protocol per se, but I just wanted to share that there is something called as Nagoya Protocol, which requires individual country to put a mechanism in place for various, access. Accessing the material for various purposes, and the benefit sharing fee which is required to be paid by different applicants as such. So in India, under the Nagoya Protocol, there is a guideline which is given, which is called as Access to Biological Resources and Associated Knowledge and Benefit Sharing Regulations 2014, which came in effect, as you can make out, 2014. And after this, anybody who is accessing the material for commercial utilization, or making an application to NBA for securing patent right, they need to take a permission, and they need to pay certain specific fee or royalty with the NBA. And the guideline is provided that if any company or any entity is utilizing a biological resource for commercial purpose, for manufacturing purpose, and where they are selling the material and they are earning the material, at what rate they are required to pay the fee. So earlier there was a ambiguity, or there was not certainty that what amount of money they would require to pay. But now with this guideline, there is a clarity that if there is a revenue generation of up to certain amount, then they need to take us they need to pay a specific amount of royalty as such. Similarly, if anybody wants to transfer the results of the research under section 7, under rule 7 of this specific guideline or regulation, they need to take 3 to 5% of monetary consideration. And if applicant himself commercializes the process or product of the consideration is different for those who are exploiting the results of the research of their patented invention as such. So applicant of the patent application who becomes patentee later on, or who is a applicant who is commercially utilizing the invention, then if they themselves are commercially utilizing, then they need to take permission and pay the NBA 0.2 to 1% based on the sectoral approach, which will be decided by the NBA. And when the applicant assigns or license such their patented invention or patented product, then they need to pay 3 to 5% of the fee received as a royalty or as a license fee from the their licensee as such. And this again would be governed that what amount of fee is required to be paid. This is just a guideline that it can be 3 to 5% or it can be 0.2 to 1%. But what amount exactly would they need to pay would be again governed by or decided by the NBA as such. Let me just, before I close my talk today, let me just make you everybody aware that those entities or those companies who are falling under section 3 and they are doing any research for finding a cure or any diagnosis of COVID-19 related product or diagnosis, then as per the notification of 3rd April 2020, the NBA would provide such approval on the fast track basis, provided that all the information have been provided appropriately, filled in all the details, all the documents are provided. So such approvals will be given by within 5 working days. Let me again, tell you that when anybody makes the application to the NBA, either for the commercial utilization or for applying for the intellectual property right, that means a patent application, it can take variable time as such. The NBA is supposed to dispose of, the applications within 90 days, but we have seen that many times there used to be a delay in past, substantial delay because maybe they did not have enough staff. But recently we have seen that they have, supporting staff or subordinate staff and various teams within the NBA, and hence there is expedition of the process. But anywhere it can take from 3 months to 1 year for securing the permission if anybody is making application to the NBA, and hence. If you do not want your grant of patent to be delayed, then you better make the application to the NBA well advanced, well before the your application will be taken up for the examination, because the patent office will, even if all the requirements are of the Patent Act are met with, but still they will not grant the patent unless and until the permission from the NBA is submitted. That means that excess benefit sharing agreement is submitted at the patent office. So unless and until such approval is not submitted to the patent office, the patent will not be granted, and hence to avoid the delay in grant of a patent, it is necessary that application to the NBA is made at proper time, and there would be again some requirements or some clarifications which will be sought by NBA. So there will be certain back and forth during the process of seeking the permission or granting of the permission by NBA, and hence taking into account all such delays, one needs to be vigilant and aware of taking the permission from the NBA at appropriate time and appropriately, so that unintentionally or innocently also there is no breach of law as such, and no penalty is then levied by the respective, either say the authority due to the violation, in even if it is unintentional as such. So this is my my talk about various approvals required to be taken from NBA under the Biological Diversity Act. If anybody has any specific questions, feel free to write to me at my email ID, or feel free to ask me now, or send it across later on. I'll be happy to address any queries if any one of you have, and if I can share any of my experiences earlier. So thank you everyone. I'm not sure whether I made it clear, or nobody is understood what are the permissions which are required, but I don't see any questions or queries being asked. So, but even right now, if you are not able to think, uh, any questions or any queries as such, do not hesitate to contact us at any point of time. We'll be happy to address any queries or help you with regard to any assistance which we may provide you at any point of time. Thank you, everyone. And yes, I can see someone raising the hand. Please go ahead and either you can unmute your mic or type in the chat box your query. So I saw a hand which was raised by one of the participant, but I'm not sure if the question is being asked as such.
Meeta ma'am, there are few queries on the chat box.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so let me just go through all these, queries, and let me try to address as much as I can, So, yeah, so I think I already explained what is the meaning of equitable benefit sharing. That means we if we mix lot of materials with each other, then is there a need to take approval from NBA? So if you are mixing a lot of material, but still you are, to mix those materials, you still need to take those individual materials, right? So you need to take a permission. So this is a question by Dr. Abhishek Sharma, and he is asking that if we are mixing a lot of material, and for that, do we need to take a permission from NBA? Yes, if you are mixing a lot of material, then to make that mixture you are accessing or you are using individual material. So yes, you would need to take a permission from the NBA. But if you are making the product out of that mixture of material and then selling it, and somebody is accessing or buying that material or using that material, then that person would not need to take the permission from the NBA as such. And then the equitable benefit sharing, as I explained to you, that under NBA it will be excess benefit sharing, and under uh, SBB it will be fair and equitable benefit sharing, which is as per the guideline provided by the regulation. Which is called, which is recently introduced in 2014, which is called as Access to Biological Resource Associated Knowledge and Benefit Sharing Regulations 2014. So I see Dr. Madhusudan has already replied to that query. I'm sorry, I didn't see this chat, but yes, that's right. That if you if you are doing a research and taking a biological, yeah, so then you don't need to take a permission. And then there is a question again by Dr. Abhishek, who was asking that if any research is being done on biological material used from outside India, in that case, no, you do not need to take any approval from India. The BDA, the Biological Diversity Act, and the NBA permission are required to be taken only for the materials accessed from the NBA. If you are, taking any material from outside India, you do not need to take a material as such. But if you are exporting the material outside India, then yes, you need to take a permission from the NBA. As I was sharing that there would be a one-time fee which you would be required to pay NBA, because you are exporting it one time. So there, yes, you would need to take a permission, and there would be one-time payment fee. So in case of milk and its product, do we need to take approval? I have handled in past some case like this, where there was a product which was made. So there were some peptides which were isolated from milk, which were having some antiviral activity. And yes, the patent office did ask that applicant to go to NVA, and NVA did ask that applicant to take the permission from NVA, because the milk was determined as a biological resource. Yes, and my presentation will be shared later on with the participants later on. When you are making application for the patent, it is better that while you are in process of filing the patent application, or as soon as you have filed and you are sure that you need to take a permission from the NVA, you can make an application to the NVA. But how certain times, people or applicants are not very certain that they need to take a permission. For example, there are certain things which are termed as value-added products. So somebody is under the impression that what I have accessed is a value-added product. Do I need to take a permission from NBA? So either there is, one can write to the NBA and seek the clarification, or wait for the patent office to raise the objection. And if the objection is raised, that means the patent office has determined that a material to be biological resource, and hence you would need to take the permission. But it is, as I explained to you earlier, that once you determine that yes, it is a biological resource for you, which you need to take a permission, to avoid any delay in the grant of patent, better you take the permission from the NBA as soon as possible.
Ma'am, I have a question. My name is Shaumi, and this is regarding the Ayurvedic concoctions that are used in any other product. And with respect to granting of the patent for those kind of products which use an Ayurvedic concoction as an ingredient.
Right.
So, does the NBA get applicable here, or is it the same thing that you mentioned, that you just seek approval from the NDA by written format?
Right, Shami. So is the Ayurvedic concoctions being sold and available as such in the market?
Yes.
Maybe under specific brand name, right?
Yes, these are specific brand names, as well as there are traditional names that are associated.
Okay, so if you are using the concoctions, that means if it is can be determined as a value-added product, then you do not need to take the permission from the NVA. If you are saying if it's a branded material as such, or they are sold by maybe certain Ayurvedic formularies, or those agencies, then you may not need to take the permission if it can be considered as a value-added product as such. But if you are saying that you are using a traditional knowledge, then that is also based on the biological material from India, then NBA may ask you that you should take a permission from us. But if you have invented any product or process based on such concoction, the patent office will not ask you to take the permission from the NBA. But if they determine that it is a traditional knowledge based invention, then there can be objection raised by the examiner that this is anticipated under section 2P of the Indian Patents Act and not patentable. So, but again, to what extent you have carried out the research, and to what extent you are different from the parent concoction, that needs to be determined or seen, and then accordingly you would need to if it is a traditional knowledge as such, then what permission needs to be taken by NVA, or if it is how different you are from the concoction for which, based on which you may have done some research or may have filed a patent application, then based on that, that can be addressed at the patent office.
All right, clear. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure, most welcome. So there is again a question that in case a foreign company wants to transfer a dairy culture from the public domain cultures, in this case, do we need to take a permission from NBA? Whether, see, the public domain culture, that means if you are taking from India and using it outside India, that means a foreign company, then yes, they would need to take a permission from NBA before even accessing the dairy cultures per se. But if Indian researcher is utilizing a microorganism which is from say American Type Culture Collection Center, ATCC, which is not from India, then such for such access of microorganisms, permission is not required. But in case yes, a foreign company wants to transfer the dairy cultures from public domain cultures from India to outside India, they would need to take a permission from NBA. Baking powder, I'm not sure whether you can call it as a say a biological entity as such. I believe what you are trying to say is the yeast, which is generally used in baking as such, which is available commercially. Then if you are using the yeast say from India, then yes, as Dr. Madhusudan has said, then you would need to take a permission. But if you say that I use the yeast which are procured from outside India, then you would not need to take a permission from NBA under BDA as such. As I said already, that using a milk acid does not require the permission. This is what the common understanding is. But if you are using the milk and as I shared one of my experience and isolating a peptide from it, and that those peptides are then used to make a product for antiviral activity, then of course the patent office and NBA both construed the milk to be as a biological entity, and so the permission was required to be sought by the applicant. Yes, this is a question by Kashmira, who is asking that do we need to mention the source of biological material in patent specification? Yes, you would need to mention this source of biological material in the specification. So there are two ways to it. If you are I'm sure you would be aware that there is an example section, and you would be mentioning so and so material or microorganism, or leaves or roots or extract of leaves or roots were used. You can provide as a separate heading the source of the material, and you can provide the information about the source of the material under that heading or next to the material under the example section as such, that the so and so procured from say a lake in say in Mumbai, or in so and so space, like in Mumbai there is a place called as Goregaon, where there is there are lakes in RA colony. So you may say the microorganisms isolated from lake in RA colony in Mumbai. So you can provide such this kind of information, or if you have procured the material from any specific vendor, then you can provide the name of the vendor and location of the vendor as such. And again, if you are utilizing say microorganism from any depository institution, say for example ATCC, then you can provide that information either under the separate head or along with the specific material when you are kind of giving the details of the experimental work done under the example section as such. Many times, if you have not already provided such information in the patent specification and you are at the examination stage, then the controller or the examiner would ask you to provide the information beginning of the specification under a separate heading, biological material, source of biological material, and then under that heading, the information is required to be provided at that stage. Commercialization would mean that you are earning some revenue or profit out of it, and you are selling the material for commercial benefit as such. Suppose now you put on your website that you on sale as such, but then you are kind of selling certain concoction of the material which would use a specific biological material. Then of course you are saying that you are going to commercialize, right? So the intention of selling that product, I mean something which is meant for earning the profit, or making available for to the public such product for price would be called as commercialization. Yeah, so if you have not, you have filed the patent application, and if you have not taken the permission, you can file the application to the NBA at the later date also. So thanks, Dr. Madhusudan, for helping me out addressing a lot of queries. As I can see, you have addressed most of the queries as such. So there is one question that while filing a trademark, you need to take a permission. But yes, if you are saying that you have developed, say, orange, squash with strawberry squash, and you are going to apply a trademark for that, and then that is based on, say, any particular geographical location from India. You have taken a grapes from Nashik, and you have taken a orange from say Nagpur, and then you are making a product and you are putting some information and you are using some particular kind of a word or symbol which denotes that this material is from Indian biological resource. And for such trademark application also, you need to take a permission from the NBA as such. If you have derived a sequence from NCBI, or if it is from any foreign repository, then you don't need to take a permission from the NBA as such. In case of a company which is incorporated under Foreign Companies Act, sources of biological material from vendor for commercial purpose, then would the NBA permission required? Yes, if a company so if it is a foreign company and incorporated under foreign companies law, right, it is definitely a foreign entity as such, and it is purchasing the material from vendors from commercial purpose, right? They are accessing the material for the commercial purpose as such, then they will need to take a permission. And even the entity or vendor who is exporting the material for the commercial purpose as such would need to take a permission, or would need to take a approval from the NBA, because they are kind of exporting the material outside India as such. But then there is a certain exemption that is that is done for developing a new trait or plant as such. Then under the bilateral treaty for any horticultural agricultural research, such not for the commercial purpose but for research purpose, they would be exempted under the from the BDA from the taking the permission. If anybody has forgotten to take the permission from the NBA, if you have forgotten to take the permission from NBA under section 6, that means before making an application to the patent, you can very well make an application to the NBA even at the later stage. Only concern would be that your patent would not be granted. But if you are a foreign entity under section 3, and if you have if you have forgotten, then there is a breach which has already occurred, and there is no remedy which is provided under the act to correct the breach of the law. Unfortunately, there is no regularization mechanism provided so far. Hope it would be introduced sometime later. And as I said, that there was the central government notification provided last year. It was specifically for this purpose only, that those who had unintentionally or innocently not taken the permission, because the law was not very popular around 2012 or 13 as such, or maybe before that, and some innocent breach had happened, then a specific provision was provided, but otherwise there would be a breach of law, and there is no remedy as such. If you have forgotten to take the permission from the NBA under section 3 or section 7 as such. If there are any further questions, you can definitely share with me, and if you have imported any exotic variety from the foreign country, then from doing the research, then I don't think you need to go to the NBA, but those specific countries, as I said, that Convention in Biodiversity, CBD, has 196 party to it, and many countries have implemented the mechanism like Biological Diversity Act, and they have put in place the governing laws. So you need to check the governing laws of those countries, whether you need to take a permission from those countries under some specific bodies for importing the exotic material per se. So as I said, that you need to take a NBA permission for every biological material, even if there is more than one material. Yes, whether you are accessing one material or two or in material, that how many number of materials you are accessing, as long as they are biological resource, as per the definition of Biological Diversity Act, individual material, then yes, you need to take the permission. But if somehow they are concoction, and then they are sold under specific brand name, or they are sold as concoctions by any specific vendor as such, then you can it would be you can argue that what I have used is a value added product, and hence I don't need to take a permission from the NBA. Yes, again, copyright too would be subject to, permission from the NBA, because if you are describing anything, any material for such purposes, I would share some of the examples of, what can be considered as, subject to NBA approval under the trademark or copyright law, which would give some clarity as such, that and for what kind of intellectual property rights you need to take you need to take a permission from the NBA. So I hope I have addressed so far the questions which are being raised. I'm not sure if I could provide the required clarity. If still somebody has a doubt or needs some information or assistance or clarification, definitely I'll be happy to provide some more clarification or any assistance or any further information. Feel free to write to me, and of course this presentation will be shared with everyone, and We'll also share some of the examples of trademark or copyright material which can be subject of NVA approval. Thank you everyone. Have a good day, and I conclude my talk here, and I hope you would be now aware of various NVA approval and not go on the wrong side of the law as such. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Have a good day. Bye bye.